I'm Laura Spence, I'm Director of the Centre for Research into Sustainability at Royal Holloway. I am normally the optimist at conferences, talking about all these wonderful things that small businesses do, much as you've been saying here. I think I want to take the opposite role here and be the pessimist. I rather suspect if the podcast gets broadcast into outer space and some alien life form finds it, they might think that we've got this sustainable enterprise thing cracked, and that most businesses are sustainable enterprises, and we all understand what that means. And I think we're doing a disservice to this opportunity of gathering here together today if we kind of allow that notion to continue. So I want to bring up a few myths, expound on a few taboo subjects, and really kind of bring you all down, just in case anyone was thinking we were doing so well. So sorry about that.
5 minutes of optimism are over
here. Misery and shoes. Thank you so much. So starting off, I think, with language and issues around language, and that has cropped up already. You know, we know that there are some question marks about what we mean by sustainability, business ethics, corporate social responsibility, corporate citizenship, corporate governance. The list goes on and on. So there are clear questions there. The thing I'd like to focus on particularly is sustainability, since that's our key topic, and the way that as broadly academics or people with a kind of buy-in to sustainability, we assume that we're talking about the triple bottom line, the environmental, social, economic perspective. My research with businesses suggests that they're thinking really only about economic sustainability and survival, longevity of survival. And you can have a whole conversation with a business person with these different understandings of sustainability, and in the end, everything they want to understand is around translating whatever it is you're talking about into economic triple bottom line. It may be at best, but get it into an economic mindset, and that happens, I think, throughout organisations. So that's certainly my first point. I've got 5 points to see if I can get through them. My second taboo subject really is to get away from this notion that being sustainable will be profitable. This is, I think, the holy grail. It has been a business ethics research for decades now, but trying to promote this win-win scenario. Oh, doesn't it sound nice? Isn't that what the policymakers want to hear? Isn't that what business wants to hear? But I think we need to burst the bubble of assuming that that's true. There will, of course, be cases where you save on your costs, for example, by switching off lights, all those energy-saving things, and greenhouse gas consumptions and so on. Yes, there are win-win scenarios. I hate them that Michael Porter speak, but there it is. But we are really not looking hard enough if we think that that's going to be the solution, and there will be a point quite quickly when it isn't, and we need to be asking businesses to have a bigger agenda than just profit maximisation. So that's point number 2. Point number 3 is the very little talked about area of trade-offs and priorities. So we have agendas around human rights, around diversity, around greenhouse gas reduction, all of these really positive things, poverty alleviation, that we think businesses ought to be involved in. But what we find is that it's almost impossible for businesses to find the balance between all of those things. Which is the most important? Is it reducing your water consumption, or is it human rights of people further down your supply chain? And there's no clear indication on that. I imagine it's just whatever is being pushed in their faces at the time is the one that gets dealt with most rapidly. But I think we tend to ignore the trade-offs that are inevitable in dealing with some of these social, environmental, economic issues. That's number 3. Number 4 is something which was put to me by some research we did with Sainsbury's supermarket. One of the senior people there said, where does the expertise lie? We have our good intentions, we want to do the right thing, but how do we find out what that right thing is in terms, talking particularly about environmental issues? We don't know what's going to happen precisely 20, 30, 50 years' time. There are reasonable estimates. I doubt very much that it's academics that have got those final solutions. Is it the NGOs? Is it consultants? Is it the corporations themselves? No, who are we saying it has the legitimate claim over where that expertise knowledge is? It's the governments in their regulation. And we're dealing very much with uncertainties, and I think we need to acknowledge that. It's not easy to decide what the best thing to do is. My fifth one and final one was around the notion that we've been talking about here of kind of tinkering within the system. You know, to what extent can we work within the existing system? And talking about different business models is definitely a way forward. But I think we need to acknowledge that addressing the system as a whole is critical if we really want to make a difference. The real solutions are around reducing consumption, not finding slightly less damaging forms of consumption. Because that doesn't go down politically well, doesn't go down well with companies, doesn't go down well at all within the system that we're in. Reducing economic activity per se, as the economic crisis has been one of the most beneficial things in terms of sustainability that we've seen happen. Again, that's not an easy one to sell. Reducing population growth, really a taboo subject. So I think really thinking about the discourses that we use and the importance of these sort of wider taboo subjects is critical. And I think that the one thing I'd like to leave you with is an acknowledgement of the complexity of sustainability. We all too easily slip into this, yes, we all know what we're talking about thing, and we all know what's going to happen, and it's simply not true. So we have no idea what a sustainable enterprise looks like, no matter how many good case studies we have. Now, what does it really mean to be a sustainable enterprise? That's it.
Thank you.
Sorry.